Welcome everyone. This video is on CBSE English for the students of class 12. The first topic in their English syllabus is the last lesson from the book Flamingo. And this topic is discussed in this video. The topic, the last lesson, is written by the writer Alphonse Daudet. In this video, only the text of the topic will be discussed for easy understanding of the lesson by the students. This lesson, in fact, is a prose based on the European country France. France was into Franco-Prussian War, but was defeated ultimately by Germany. Let me tell you something about Franco-Prussian War. Franco-Prussian War was fought in the year 1870-71 between France and Prussia. At that time, Prussia consisted of Germany, Poland, and Austria. France lost in the war, and the districts Alsace and Lorraine, they were taken over by the winning country, Germany. Germany won the war, it became the victor country, and France became defeated, and it was the vanquished country. Yes, this is the backdrop of the lesson. Before we find entry into the lesson, let us try to know something about the writer. The creator of this lesson is Alphonse Daudet. He is a writer. In fact, he was a French novelist and a story writer. He was, at the beginning of his career, he was a teacher, but subsequently he turned to a journalist. And later on, he became editor and author of many books. The lesson is based on a theme. What is a theme? Theme is a central idea on which the lesson is based. Here in the lesson, we find a theme. Nationalism should be in everyone. This is one theme. Love for mother tongue must be very intense in every citizen. This is another theme. And freedom of a country can be ensured by being loyal to the mother tongue. These are the themes. Many other themes can also be created. At the end of the lesson, you will be also in a position to create a theme. Theme is a central idea on the platform of which the lesson is created. Now, before the text of the lesson starts, here is a suggestion on how to get the best out of this video. Because the lesson will be discussed on the basis of the page number of the lesson, the simple tip to get the best out of this video is to read the individual page of the lesson on which the video discussion is focused. In other words, read a page from the lesson and then focus on the video for thorough understanding of the contents. Yes, here the lesson starts. Let us talk about the characters. In this lesson, there are two predominant characters. Mr. Hamel, who was a French teacher in the districts of Alsace. He had 40 years of teaching experience in that school, and he was to be replaced by another German teacher from the next day. And another character, apart from Mr. Hamel, is a student, Franz. Franz is a student of Mr. Hamel. Initially, Franz was very naughty one. He was very casual, but subsequently he became a serious student. Now, we find that there are two important characters, Mr. M. Hamel, a teacher, and a student, Franz. Now, come to page number 2 of the lesson. On a particular day, Franz was moving to school, of course with hesitation. He was moving to school late. He was moving, of course, with hesitation because he was not well prepared in a particular task given by the teacher. Teacher had assigned him a task in grammar. The chapter was participles. He was not well prepared. That is why he was afraid of the teacher. For that purpose, he was thinking of bunking the class. He was thinking of bunking the class and he was thinking of enjoying the good weather outside. But however, with much of hesitation, he finally decided that he will be attending the school. In the same page number 2, there is a line as spoken by Franz. The line is this. This line I am emphasizing because this line might come in the extract portion in the examination. I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. Outside weather condition was very good. German soldiers were parading, and as such, outside impression, visual impression was very good. So he was thinking of enjoying outside by bunking the class. And that is why he is saying this line, That temptation, outside temptation was really very strong, but I had to resist the temptation because I knew if I bunked the class, definitely I would be punished. That was the feeling going on in the mind of Franz. Franz is moving to school, and on the way he came across town hall. Town hall is a center where information is provided to the people. At the town hall there was a crowd, and on the bulletin board some information was being displayed. There came the idea to this Franz that for the last 2 years during the war time, negative information came on this bulletin board. Information relating to what? Negative or painful information relating to the lost battles by France, laws made by the government, order of the military commanding officers. All this negative information came on the bulletin board. And when France found many people around this bulletin board, he was thinking of what might be the bad news that day. But however, he didn't care for this bad news. He started moving on to school. When he was moving hurriedly, there was an old man at the town hall. His name was Watcher. The Watcher told this boy, sufficient time is there to reach at the school, that's why go slow. Here is again another important line, as told by this old man. The line is this: don't go so fast, bub. Bub means my child, my dear. He'll get to school in plenty of time. Sufficient time was there. So in page number 2, we find a few words, many of which should be very clear to you in order to have a good understanding of the lesson of this particular page. Page number 2. Dread means fear. Participles, that's a chapter in grammar. And chirping is a sound by the birds. Sawmill is a wood cutting machine. Drilling means parading. Tempting means attractive. Town hall is the information center, and bulletin board is a display surface. Draft means law. Now come to page number 3. Franz reached the school and he found unusual situation at the school. What was the unusuality? Classroom was silent. Students and teacher, they were already present in the class. Without punishment, the teacher allowed him to find entry into the classroom. Franz says, the classroom was so silent that it appeared to me as if everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Sunday morning is a very calm and quiet time at church. This same calmness, time of silence, that is being compared to the silence prevailing in the classroom. And it is there in page number 3. Now, this line is very important. It might come in the extract in the examination. After finding entry to the classroom, Franz took his seat. Class was calm and quiet. There was no noise. This boy Franz looked at the teacher, and he found appearance of the teacher was quite different. Quite impressive rather. Before we go to the description of the appearance of the teacher, here are a few words in page number 3, meanings of which you should know for perfect understanding of the page. Hurried by means to move fast. Apprentice means learner of a new skill. Bustle means a noisy scene. In unison means in chorus all together. Rapping means knocking. Blushed means felt ashamed. And frilled means stitched with folding. Come to page number 4. Inside the classroom, as I said, there was some unusuality prevailing, something uncommon prevailing. Franz says that day our teacher, M. Hamel, was dressed uniquely. He was putting on a green coat and his shirt was embroidered. He was putting on a black cap and he was looking very handsome as such that day. And one idea that is being added by Franz for us is this, that this sort of dressing, unusual dressing, that was found with the teacher particularly on inspection days, when senior officers, higher officers from the board, from the government, they were visiting the school. On those days, teacher was having this sort of dressing. On certain occasions, ceremonial occasions like the annual function and other occasions, he was also putting on this sort of dress. And what was another unique factor that day inside the classroom? Apart from the students, villagers were also present in the classroom. Villagers like old Hauser, mayor, postmaster. Everybody was present in the class and class was full. The class started and the teacher started announcing something. What was the announcement? Announcement is this. And this created a great impact in the mind of this student Franz. What was the announcement by the teacher? Teacher said, my children, this is the last lesson I shall give you today. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German language in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. In the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, French won't be taught. In place of French, German language will be taught. This was a painful announcement made by the teacher in the class. And it is there in page number 4. In page number 4, again the writer is describing the reactions of Franz after hearing this. All of a sudden there was a drastic change in the psychology of this student. He came to know, perhaps this was the information for which many people had gathered there. What was the information? That from the next day, French would be taught in the schools of France. German language would be taught. Immediately after hearing this, there came a sense of regret in France. But after hearing this, he became all of a sudden very serious for studies. The books which he did not care earlier, he started loving now. The teacher to whom he disliked, Franz disliked, to the same teacher, Franz started loving immediately. And here is some reaction in the mind of Franz. Franz says, how sorry I was for not learning my lesson. Here is a sense of regret. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. In page number 4, here are some words, meanings of which again you should know for perfect understanding of the contents of this page number 4. Embroidered. Embroidered means ornamented. Sholem. Sholem means calm and quiet. Rhymer is a book of alphabets. Thumbed means soiled or made dirty. And nuisance. Nuisance means source of irritation. Come to page number 5. In page number 5, we will come to know the classroom proceedings. Many things were taught by the teacher that day. What were the proceedings of the class? Villagers were present in the class that day to pay respect to Mr. Hamel because that was the last day of Mr. Hamel in the school. And villagers said their presence in the classroom just to show their respect for their country, France. France was questioned about alphabets by the teacher. But as you know, Franz was not well prepared in that lesson. He was not able to answer the questions. After this, the teacher started analyzing the situation, why the students are not very serious for studies. He blamed the students, saying that the students were procrastinating in nature. Procrastinating means putting something to be done at a subsequent time, later time. And the parents were also to be blamed because parents were not very serious about the studies of their children. They were sending their children to factories, industries for the sake of earning money. And the teacher also blamed himself, saying that on certain days he was declaring holiday for the students because he was to go on fishing. On many days he was asking the students what are the plants inside the school. And all these three things, students were blamed, parents were blamed, the teacher himself also blamed himself. In page number 5, the teacher is bringing another important idea to the knowledge of the students, saying that the French people had a lot of good qualities, but those good qualities they were not utilizing for productive purposes. Exact sentence of the teacher is this: we have all a great deal, means we have all a number of good qualities which we are not utilizing productively, and that is why we have to reproach ourselves with. Reproaching means castigating. Now in page number 5 we come across these words. Words are dreadful. Dreadful means very difficult. Dreadful rule, difficult principles. Pretending means falsely proclaiming. Reproaching means blaming or castigating. Now come to page number 7. In page number 7 we find also the same classroom proceedings continuing. The teacher said that French was the best language. Why French was the best language? French was the clearest language. French was the most logical language. But French people did not understand the dignity of this French language. That is why they had to suffer defeat. In other words, the teacher means to say that if the people are committed to their mother tongue, freedom of the country will always be there with them. After grammar, something else was taught. Franz realized that grammar was not difficult at all, it was easy. And Franz was listening each and every word of the teacher that day in the class. Hamel, the teacher, he was also very serious in imparting the lessons in French language. And the teacher brought again a new idea to the knowledge of the students present in the classroom. He said, for the freedom of the country you need certain thing. And in the exact words of the teacher, the sentence is here. When a people are enslaved, As long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Here is a good comparison. Freedom from the jail and freedom from the dependence of a country. If a criminal wants to get freedom from the jail, he has to get the key of the jail gate. This key of the jail gate, that is a passport for his freedom. On the other hand, if loyalty to mother tongue is not there, independence can't be maintained. After this, the writing part was taken up by the teacher. So for the purpose of writing, the teacher had brought new copies for the students. On each and every copy, on the front page, these two words were written. What were the two words? France, Alsace. It was appearing as if they were having the French flags with them. On that day, France was not ordinary. That day he had become an extraordinary student. In same page number 7, we find some other aspect of the class. The class was fully silent and the teacher inside the classroom was emotionally engrossed. In that particular classroom, he had taught the students for 40 years. But that day, he was looking at the walls of the classroom as if he was new in the classroom. One reaction all of a sudden came to the mind of the student Franz. Franz heard the sound created by the pigeons. Pigeons were sitting on the rooftop and they were creating some sound. That was the language of the pigeons. Here, Franz says, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? They means who? German soldiers. Would the German soldiers be able to make the pigeons sing in German language? No. Because the pigeons are one language committed. Pigeons know only one language. But the French people, they were not like the pigeons. In page number 7, we find these words, meanings of which you should know for perfect understanding of the contents of this page. People, here people means a nation. France. Hold fast means being committed to. And beetles means the insects. Now come to page number 8. In page number 8, we find that emotional impact that was there in the teacher, and that emotional impact is being described and shared to us. And the teacher inside the classroom was looking around the walls, he was looking at the desk, he was looking at the benches, and he was looking at the trees. The same things were there in the school for the last 40 years. There was no change, but the teacher was emotional that day. The teacher again started teaching alphabets to the students. Alphabets are ba, be, bi, something like this. However, that day realized the value of mother tongue, and that is why he started learning French language seriously. But unfortunately, that was the last day of learning French language for the people of Alsace and Lorraine of France. In the process of teaching, it was 12 o'clock, noon. At 12 o'clock, there was the church prayer known as Angelus. Angelus, that was there, and at 12 o'clock when Angelus came from the church, the soldiers stopped parading, stopped their march past, and they started coming back to the school. Hamel had to stop the class. Hamel wrote on the blackboard 3 words. And the 3 words were, Vive la France, means long live France. This writing reflected the deep love of the teacher for the country France. After this writing, this student, he was emotionally also broken down. And he started reflecting that this writing must have emotionally damaged, emotionally given much of pain to the teacher. And the exact line the student is saying, how it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man. Leave it all means leave the school, leave the students, leave everything. Yes, after 40 years of attachment, if someone is going to say goodbye to the school, definitely it is emotionally very painful. And finally the teacher came up with his final statement. The teacher said, the school is dismissed. You may go now. School is over. And this class came to an end. You should know the meanings of certain words like Angelus. Angelus is a prayer, church prayer. Vive la France means long live France. With this, the lesson is coming to an end, but this lesson is giving a profound message. What is the message? That love for the country, it begins with education. Everyone should be educated. And mother tongue, that should be the passport for independence of a country. Everyone should learn mother tongue seriously, and loyalty to mother tongue must be there 100% with every citizen. With that only the freedom, the independence of the country can be maintained. The lesson has come to an end. We shall come up with the questions and answers in the next video. Thank you.